So I've been getting into this terrible habit of hopping on eBay, Poshmark, and other buying and selling platforms and just shooting over lowball offers on a bunch of different sneakers that I've either wanted for a long time or just randomly stumble upon, and just to see how the seller reacts. There's really no true rhyme or reason to it. There's just something about chasing down a good deal that has always been one of my favorite things to do in this sneaker game. And these shoes that I'm showcasing here are sort of a result of that impulsive sneaker habit. I haven't quite made videos on these pairs just yet, but they're in the works, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Dylan from the future here. I guess the clip that I was about to toss in next got deleted off my camera for whatever reason. But pretty much what I said was that this pair of the Nike SB Dunk High, dubbed as the wet floor, is the result of my impulsive sneaker buying. And this pair I sort of have a sentimental attachment to, but I'll highlight that later in the video. But before getting into story time, we could start on the materials on this pair. These are a mainly all leather upper in Nike's Tour Yellow color. Throughout the mudguard, the eye stay, and the back heel paneling is this smooth leather, while at the mid panel is this perforated yellow leather. Contrasting all this yellow is the color of white, which could be found at the patent leather on the toe, the white mesh tongue, and the white midsole. Another contrast color is black, which could be found at the patent leather on the swoosh, the black laces, the black text on the SB tongue, the inner walls, and the black contrast stitching along the midsole. The additional accent color of red can be found at the back tab, as well as the tongue tab. Both the shininess from the patent leather on the toe and the swoosh represent squeaky clean floors, as these are inspired by a wet floor sign after all. These utilize Nike's Zoom Air technology, as you'd find in all SB Dunks, making this a super comfortable sneaker. So the cool thing about most SB Dunks is that there's usually a backstory or an inspiration behind each pair. The mastermind behind this pair is Ian Williams, and I'll be honest, I didn't recognize that name at first, but after some research, I was able to learn that he started his journey at the Nike World headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon as a janitor. It was essentially one of those things where he worked his way up and approached the SB team one day and inquired about doing a dunk. And this was the pair, inspired by his custodial duties while on the job as a janitor. From there, he became a footwear developer at Nike, and after a few years, he eventually opened up his very own sneaker-inspired coffee shop in Portland called Deadstock Coffee. I have to give credit where credit is due, so I'll have linked in the description all the articles and videos I reference when learning about this pair. So I mentioned earlier in the video that this is a nostalgic pair of sneakers for me, and it's because these came out in 2009 when I was a freshman in high school and was starting to get into sneakers. This was the transition from the gold box into the blue box era of Nike SBs, which, as a reminder, was when Nike SB Dunks were still pretty hot. I read somewhere that Nike only put out 5,000 of these, so I guess you could consider this as sort of a rare sneaker in a way. This specific pair was significant to me because, from what I remember, these were the cheapest ones you could find for resale. You have to remember, that was a time before StockX, GOAT, and all these other sneaker consignment shops had really existed. The only reselling platforms at the time were Flight Club, which we all knew charged an arm and a leg, and still do actually, or places like Facebook or sneaker forums like Nike Talk and Soul Collector. I remember at that time it was this pair and like the Miss Piggies or the Skate Mentals that went for a little over $100, which makes sense because those colorways on those sneakers were a bit out there. $100 is whatever nowadays, but back when I was 14 or 15, that was an astronomical amount. And if I did have $100 back then, either these wet floors or the Miss Piggies or the Skate Mentals would have been the pairs I grabbed just because they were the cheapest ones to get. So obviously with it being 2020 now and me going back to grab these, it's evident that I didn't buy these at the time. And what I did buy instead was this pair of Nike sportswear dunks from my Nike outlet in 2011. So it's crazy that I still have these, but this was a pair that I told myself I'd probably never get rid of. I even threw on white round laces to give off the illusion that I was wearing SB dunks at the time. I have a lot of memories tied to these dunks, which is probably why I haven't gotten rid of them, but I'll save that for another video and continue to talk more about these. And at the time of that seller accepting my lowball offer on these, I sort of had this buyer's remorse about picking these up because I was thinking realistically, and I can't ever see myself wearing them. These things are super yellow and resemble a few other popular dunks to me that I'd prefer to own and wear. But man, after having these in hand, I will find any excuse I can to wear these. And even if I don't end up wearing these, this will probably be something that is just stashed away in the collection back there. I'm lucky to have even grabbed this pair because dunks are much harder to come by nowadays, and was actually able to cut on costs too because these didn't come with the original blue box or extra set of laces. which is fine because I could just store this pair away in the plastic shoe boxes that I have back there. But really, this pair of SB Dunks just shows the power of sneakers. It's similar to music in how a song could take you back to a certain time. It's the same thing with sneakers. Everyone has their own stories, whether it's with a pair of Jordans or some old school runners, etc, etc. Fortunately, I have a lot of different angles and experiences, so I'll be continuing to make nostalgic cops like this one. But that's enough rambling from me. I'd love to know what you guys think of this pair in the comment section below. Is this dunk a pair you remember? Is it something you'd go back and cop? Let me know. Additionally, if you like the content, let me know by dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. And of course, following my Instagram @StuffDylanLikes. That about does it for this one though. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.